What happens if a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia doesn't just stop the war, it ties Ukraine up hand and foot? A deal that bans NATO troops from Ukrainian soil. A deal that writes into Ukraine's constitution that the country must never seek NATO membership. And a deal where the United States promises help, but can't actually help because the United States itself is part of NATO. How can the world's largest superpower promise security, and bury it at the same time? Imagine a peace deal that ends the war now. It sounds positive at first glance. But the price? Ukraine must never seek NATO membership. No NATO troops must ever be deployed. This means that the security guarantee that Ukraine has been fighting for since 2014 suddenly becomes illegal. The US says, if Russia attacks Ukraine again, we will help. But how? The US is an integral part of NATO. If NATO as an institution is not allowed to touch Ukraine, then the same applies to the US. A president can promise a lot, but international treaties trump political promises. Can one president decide that another country, Ukraine, is not allowed to seek security in the future? Can he at the same time limit future US presidents? The answer is, legally no, politically yes. Because if the US signs an agreement, it becomes part of the international system. And it will be extremely difficult to change. The agreement will not strengthen Europe. It will not strengthen Ukraine. It gives only one party a strategic advantage, Russia. Because without NATO's future security guarantee, Ukraine is on its own. A peace agreement without real security guarantees is like fire insurance that doesn't cover a repeat breach. If Russia attacks again in 5 or 10 years, what then? Ukraine has no right to NATO protection. The US has committed not to send troops. Europe is limited. Ukraine becomes a buffer country. Exactly what Russia wants. An alternative would be a multinational security guarantee, without the NATO branding. A kind of coalition for Ukraine, independent of NATO. But that requires political will. And it's not certain that the US will go that far. History shows that superpowers often make deals that help themselves, not the countries involved. This peace agreement risks becoming another example. A peace deal could stop the bombs now. But it could also create a more dangerous future. The question is, will Ukraine get peace, or just a pause before the next attack?